Hey everybody, it's Norm from Tested.
And Sean from Tested.
Sean, we are here in our workshop and it's time for another laser cutter project. Now, one of the things that Adam does in his cave when he's not working on actual build projects is shop infrastructure.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things.
And as the person in charge of the organization of this workshop, where we do a lot of model making videos, you're constantly thinking about ways to improve this shop as well.
Indeed.
Now, I brought over from the cave one of the things I love most. Adam just got a sorting rack for his Tamiya model paints. Oh, this thing's so nice.
Sweet.
Pretty sweet. We don't have as many paint bottles as he does.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily need to buy this.
And it does take up a good bit of space.
Yes.
Which we're tight on.
We don't have. So instead of buying one of these, which I'll take off the table right now, you decided to make some paint storing racks.
Yeah.
Which then can replace or even sit in these tubs where our paint currently lives.
We've had these tubs just full of paint just piled in there. So I made some laser cut acrylic racks for all of our different sizes. And this is also, I was amassing a large collection of paint at home that I wanted to try to organize a little bit, and I happen to have the same bin. So this has been a little side project that I did, yeah.
This is super cool because the versatility I can already tell because the paint here is of different diameters, and it also looks like different heights. Plus, is this notch what I think it is?
Yeah, they stack.
They're stackable. Damn.
Yeah.
It's like going to the container store.
Yeah, I love it. So this is kind of a little modular paint rack system I came up with that I haven't gone that high. That's pretty solid. I'm impressed. So,
Nice.
yeah, I wanted something that you could like kind of put up against the front of the workbench, like under the pegboard or something, that would fit in the bins if we needed them to, and would stack. And we have so many different types of paint. So I designed some different cutout sizes, and it's just a simple solid palette form, holes on top, and then you glue it together. The one key thing is these little tabs here, which is what keeps it from, lets it lock together safely. And I did it so that no matter what size bottle it was, they would clear when you stacked them okay.
Yeah.
And then I there's some unseen nerdy features here that I designed each one to very clearly clear the label so you could read the color. Like I literally had a little marker in my 3D program marking where the label was. So each one of these, when you put it in, you can read the label correctly. It doesn't block it. And then I mark on the end what paints they're for, what size they'll fit. So you're not like, you know. And there's even, because I did these for different kinds, if you use the life color, for example, you use the upper slot for the thing so you can read the label still. So a little excessive, but you know.
No, it's considerate design for people who actually use paint. Because otherwise, if it's just a generic rack, yeah, little things would bug me, like not being able to read the label color. But let's put one together and we can take a look at how that design actually looks, how
so
it flat packs.
We use the Universal Laser Systems here, our old friend, to do a wood one. I thought we'll do something a little different here. So this is using the same cut files, just as long as you pick the right material size, you can do it out of whatever.
And versatile, you use calipers to measure diameter of your bottles and perfectly matches. And we'll pop these pieces off. Boop, boop.
Yeah, you know what? I was guessing on the type of wood this was because I didn't know for sure. I could have went a little higher on the laser power. So kids, it's always a good tip to do a test cut, which I didn't do. Bad on me. One thing I did find is that the wood cut a lot faster than the acrylic, which was nice. I think it was like a third of the time. Cool. Yeah. So as one of the many tips that we've picked up on doing the laser cutting stuff is that when you're doing a slot like this, so we just want this to key in together, you know, the most important direction is the one you can control. So if you're looking at it from above, we can control exactly this thickness, right? We can't control this thickness as much because that's going to vary by material. So what I did is I made this slot this way very precise. Like it's like very tight tolerances. Okay.
So if you're going to have any wiggle, it's
Yeah.
going to be in the material thickness wiggle.
Exactly.
But as long as, if you're doing a square connection, as long as the two sides here width are matched up with the curves and everything,
Yeah.
that's going to be good.
So I made it going this way sloppier because I
okay.
knew that there would be variances. And pretty much if you're going to have to adjust something, you're going to adjust this height for the thickness of the material. Other than that, you should be pretty good. And then the other thing that I did, which I have not done before, is these share a cut line. So because I wanted these to fit like really perfectly to stack, I actually just have one spline here that they both cut on, so that everything will nest really nicely.
It's not going to run over twice.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good practice. Like ideally, these should share a cut line down the middle. It will cut down on cut time, and efficiency, and how much material you use and everything. In practice, if you're using something like Illustrator or other vector programs to lay it out, it can be kind of a pain in the butt to do, because what you have to do then is you have to go back and delete the duplicate lines.
And then still join them at the top too.
And it can be kind of tedious.
Which means if you want to change dimensions, you have to split them apart. Yeah.
So I don't do that a lot of the times because it can be kind of tedious and time consuming. I just try to space things as close together to conserve material at least. Now, there are programs out there that you can actually feed all your parts into, and it will lay them out in the most optimal manner possible. There's some free ones that they won't get rid of duplicate lines, so you're still drawing everything twice. It's really just a material conservation thing. But there are other ones, like paid ones, that are a lot more expensive, that will like delete the extra lines and everything. But so this is super simple parts. You have your base that everything sits on. It slots into the bottom here. You have your top that is cut out for whatever size canisters we're using. We're going to do the Tamiya, so that's using the bottom slot so that we can read the labels. And then these are the last thing we plug on. That these actually serve two purposes. They are to allow it to slot together without shifting and falling apart, but it also kind of supports it underneath here as a little bit of extra, like just a little, make it a little more sturdy.
Great.
So I think we're going to go with the hot glue gun today. I think for the wood it will work okay. So, which side? I like this side's a prettier side, so I'll go with this. So we're gonna just put somewhere it joins here. Oh, this is really hot.
A cheap and easy way to do this on camera, as opposed to using super glue, or the right way, wood glue.
Yeah, wood glue would be the way, but movie magic here. And I want to make sure it's square, so I borrowed this little square here. I'll just hold that for a second.
Yep. I never do this step, check with the square, and I paid for it every time.
Like I said, the hardest thing with this is getting everything to line up squarely. So usually what I'll do with the acrylic is I'll get the glue on both ends, and then I will set it down and hold it square, because it sets up pretty quickly. Sometimes if I already have two other ones, I'll butt them against it, which has worked fine as well.
Just don't risk that acrylic glue spilling over and bonding everything together.
Yeah. And I have definitely discovered, I have to talk to Adam about different acrylic glues, because they're not all created equal. And I don't know exactly what are the best ones to use, because I've had some that set up super quick, and then some that just like would not set up and were like taking forever. And I don't know if it's because of the type of acrylic that I was using, or what the deal was, but all right. The nice thing that the tolerances on this one are much tighter, so it's kind of like squaring itself pretty well. And you're gonna find, you can find racks like this kind of out there already that also slot together, but I just wanted to do my own thing that kind of fit my purposes.
Yeah, and they can label them, can size exactly for your shelves, how many of these bottles you have.
That's actually not too bad. So then the last step is, we'll just put a little bit here. Put these little guys in. There's no particular way that these go. You just kind of like butt them against the bottom and push them down tight. It's all good. All right. Napalm. Now the one thing I'm interested to see is that if the wood ones will be as sturdy as the acrylic, because it does have to support a lot of weight across here. So I think they're gonna be okay once we get rid of all the cobwebs. And what I'm picturing for version 2 of these, because I'm pretty happy with these, but I'm thinking maybe there's a little tab that sticks out on the side so that you push it through and then you push it forward.
They lock that way, yeah.
And I think that with a combination of just a little bit of glue just to like secure it, I think that's going to be the ultimate version. But these have been working out, you know, pretty well so far. So I think these will even, yep, they'll stack with the acrylic just fine.
Look at that, still clears. And there you have it, a quick and dirty way to make a paint stand for your hobby paints.
I love it.
In your workshop, whether it's out of wood or acrylic. Sean always improving our workshop space here.
Indeed.
And you'll be seeing these paints in use in future videos on Tested, as well as more laser cutting projects on Tested. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.